Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Everybody has a story. All of our stories are unique. And I love hearing stories because we learn from them. It empowers us. Also, sometimes can make us realize that we're not alone in all of this and other people are dealing with stuff. But when you really identify your full story, there are clues there in why we do what we do and maybe things that are holding us back. We're going to look at that and also patience in your life as you move along in your journey. She's an executive life coach with Essential Blessings, and she's back with us. Shay Johnson is on the program. How are you doing today?
I am well, Steve. How are you?
I'm great. You're live and direct from the swing. This is the spiritual swing. I like to call it that, where we get musings, we get insight and all of this. And when we consider the story, did you look at your story from the beginning? I'm talking about the whole story of your life and realize certain things in there and how they're connected to the way you are today.
Definitely. Just getting to know myself and, thinking back over the years and how everything kind of coincides to where you are, where I am today. It was like an aha moment when I just learned of the alignment in your life and, the decisions that I've made, the people that I've come across. It all just kind of is, it's like a puzzle.
It really is. And there are so many aha moments. I had one recently, and it came from somebody else's story, which was similar to mine. And basically, it was in second grade. And I started giggling in class, and the teacher grabbed me by the arm, scolded me, pulled me to the front of the class, swatted my butt, i.e., spanked, and put me down in front of the class as an example. And when I connected that back, some would say, Steve, you never laugh out loud. How come you don't laugh out loud? And I really think that has something to do with it. I won't watch a movie and sit there and go, bah! And other people may. That's just not me. But I believe if that didn't happen, maybe I view things a little bit differently. And then side note, I told my mom, and even back then, they were more lenient in things like that, but they put that teacher before a hearing, and they took me out of her class into another one because of that. So that's part of my story. There's a lot of other stuff like anybody else. We've got other sections, other chapters in our story along the way. But as one example, when you look at some of your story, it might translate to how you are today, right?
And how empowering is that to recognize where that may have come from? Like, just to realize I don't laugh out loud because maybe, the connection was because of that happening. Just to be able to remember that story and to connect it, then you're able to decide whether you want to laugh out loud or not. But at least you know that is not going to be the reason that, you don't anymore.
For sure. And I pretty much forgot about that situation from second grade until somebody told me a story about their third grade where, the teacher had said something to them and it made a mark on them. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I had something from second grade. So hearing our stories I just believe so impactful. Um, once how do you get to the point where you can connect with your story and then realize certain things and have those aha moments? It's been a journey for me in terms of doing work like that, figuring things out. Um, have you found certain things in your life along the way that you connect, maybe why the way you act now, or maybe we call them limiting beliefs connected to something from back in your day?
I always think of it of the peace that I'm feeling in the moment, and then that causes me to be grateful for where I am, and then it causes me to think about what I've been through and the struggles and how I've overcome overcome them, and you think about the way you've overcome them, and depending on the story, the people that come that may have came at that time and they're no longer here. All of that is just has made me just really always think about basically where I am in the moment. And it's taught me how to be patient. No matter where or what is going on, my first instinct now is not to jump to conclusions or to get too wild. Like, it's mostly a calm sense of, what do I hear in this calamity? What am I supposed to do?
It sounds like you take the time to process it as opposed to reacting to it.
Yes, because I feel that things happen for a reason. For instance, I remember being alone. I was doing the night shift at a shelter from 11 o'clock at night to 8 in the morning. So there's a security guard there usually that will walk the area so often. But other than that, it's just me and the ladies. And this particular lady was supposed to get picked up by her doula. And we report from the last person that, I'm coming in for, tells me what's going on. And then I am relieved. And they were booking it out of there because they didn't want to be, caught there with her having the baby, like, because they were the type of people that would be all, anxiety ridden and stuff. And I didn't think of it like that. I didn't think that nothing was going to happen. I just didn't even think of it. I kind of just thought her doula would pick her up, and I would put in the report that, she went on with her doula and had her baby. Well, the doula wasn't answering. And I instinctively pulled up my purse out and just dumped it onto the desk because just to clean it out. Everyone was asleep and I had time, but it was kind of weird that I just felt like doing that at the moment. And it's a good thing I did, because there was some dental floss there that I was able to spot when everything went down. But when the lady came to me and told me that, she thinks that she's going into labor, I called the ambulance, and they were just kind of walking me through, what to do. And you could clearly see that she couldn't walk because the baby was almost there.
Wow.
Anyway, once she got in position and the ambulance is telling me, the paramedic is telling me, what to do. Do you have any string? There was another lady that came in from work, and she's trying to take her shoestring out of her shoe. And I'm looking at that dirty shoestring like, oh my gosh, please don't. No. Anyways, I'm taking off running and through past the desk into the kitchen to get gloves. And then I happen to notice that dental floss right there. And I asked the paramedic, can I use dental floss? And she said, yes, that's string, that'll work. Anyways, the baby was not, it was just half out. And nothing was happening. And they're asking me what's happening. I'm like, nothing's happening. So then I look, and the umbilical cord was wrapped around the baby's neck. So as soon as I realized that, I pulled the cord from around the neck. The baby shot out, and I grabbed him and handed him to his mother and wrapped the umbilical cord with the string. But through all of this, now, mind you, I was very distraught afterward. I wanted to go home and it was just like super wild. But during the time, I was so calm, and I was just doing everything that needed to be done. And when I thought about it later, it was like, I needed to be there. No one else could handle that. I had the instinct to dump my purse out to see that dental floss. like all of this stuff just started like aligning, even though I was like super, frantic afterward. Because it was like wild and amazing at the same time.
Do you
But
believe?
that situation was another lesson just to, I just feel like where we're supposed to be, when and how we're supposed to be there. So if something is happening, go with it with patience and stride, because I mean, what can you get out of all the craziness and panicking and anxiety and all that? What's going to come to you, unless you just focus on breathing and hearing the next steps that you should probably take.
I was calm during this whole story until you said cord wrapped around neck, and I'm like, I felt like
Oh,
panic.
and not to mention, she kept saying, please don't let nothing be wrong with you. Please don't let nothing be wrong with you, talking to her baby. And I'm all feeling at that moment like, yeah, please don't let nothing be wrong. But it was like, had she not said that, I wouldn't have even went there either. But yeah, that was
I get your adrenaline all the way up here, and now everything is done, baby delivered, things are calmed down, but you're still like, oh my gosh, what just happened?
right.
Um, does the moments where you jumped into action almost feel like it was autopilot, like I'm doing what I need to do and this is it, and that's you're just almost going through the
I didn't
motions?
think of anything else beside what is it that I need to do. But it was almost as if I was in a spiritual trance or something, because I was
Yeah,
just like, I was familiar with what I needed to do, and I was just doing it. I wasn't panicking, I wasn't screaming or anything, but all those emotions came to me once
after.
it was all over. Like
Yeah.
I needed to go home, and I didn't want to come back one day, but I wish that I would have said more than one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but yeah,
Hmm. Do you believe things happen for a reason? You were there, you were put there, oddly or not. You emptied out your bag, just you would just happen to be emptying it, and oh, there's dental floss, and then this happened. Do you think that things happen for a reason?
yes, I definitely do. I think that it all happened the way it was supposed to happen to get that child on this earth. So no matter what it was, I needed to be the person to be there. Because it now granted, maybe I just feel like it needed to be me, because the other two ladies that left before me were definitely booking out of there because they didn't want it to be them. And I didn't even think of it like that. I just really didn't think that that was going to happen. But had I maybe, if I would have thought, what if she has that baby? Maybe I would have prayed about it, like, please let me know what to do. But I just really didn't think that it would happen.
Mhm. Now you talk about patience. That can come in many different forms. How do you mean having patience?
I think patience is really being at peace within, because when you're at peace within, you're able to have the patience you need in whatever capacity. So sometimes people need to work on their patience, because, like they say, it is patience is a virtue. So it will help you out. I'm just thinking of the different aspects where you can get a little uneasy and not have patience. But if you were to have patience, how much better you would feel. So, like if you're waiting in line, and it's a long line, but there's a situation up at the front that's making it take a little bit longer. So you're already feeling like not only is this line so long, but it's not moving yet. So those are the times when you should be able to go within to capture your peace. And then when you're patient, something usually comes out of it in the end, whether it's a good conversation with the person that's so grateful for the fact that you didn't like add to their stress by sighing real hard or, you know, saying something, whatever. People really can appreciate that. And then you can have a positive conversation out of it. You can see a smile. You'll feel better. You'll feel more strength, you know, from within. So I think it really, working on your peace within can help you with your patience.
So here's a lesson for me last week. My daughter wanted to go to Taco Bell. She loves Taco Bell. I'm online. There's nobody online. There's a car in front of me. So should be breezing in, breezing out. Car in front of me is ordering a ton of stuff. I'm hearing, 12 chalupas. Let me have, 14 tacos. I'm like, oh boy, like really? I'm looking on the board, just like over $100 in food. I'm like, finally she pulls forward, get up to the ordering window or, the speaker. And the person says, "Oh, can you hold on just a minute?" I'm thinking, oh, this woman now with the all this food, now they have to make it. Now they got me on pause, and I'm just like waiting, talking to my daughter. I'm like, oh, forever, and there's nobody here, and we're still waiting. Pull forward now, finally place my order. Now, two little things. She's in front of me, and I'm like waiting. I'm like, she pulls forward. I finally pull forward. I go to get my order, and the person at the window says, "Yeah, the lady in front of you, she already paid for you. She asked you to pay it forward." And I look at my daughter. I'm like, like why? And I don't know whether she saw in the rear view that maybe I was a little, let's go. I'm very low key, but it wasn't. I don't think you could see. I was like, um, it was my wake up to patience. And then I did pay it forward after that. But I felt like a jerk. I'm going to be honest. But it was almost like the universe.
You'll always have that. You'll always have that to remind you next time that you start to get a little frustrated, just to have a little bit more patience. And
Yeah.
you feel better after, like, I got through that. Okay. I'm all right.
It was a lesson for me and my daughter because she's taking the cue from me. So I'm like, what are we going to order here? What are we doing? And we both looked at it, and she was the same way. I was like, I don't know why it's taking so long. But we both looked at each other like we're embarrassed. But I believe it was the universe's way of knocking on my door and saying, have a little patience. Okay. What's an extra minute? Maybe she was having a family celebration and needed to order a lot of food. Who knows? Maybe she had some gift cards and never used them. I don't know the answer. There could be something there, and I don't know. Do you look at patience this way as well, where you look at your life in a slice of a couple of weeks, a month, and you're like, I'm not really moving forward. I'm kind of stuck here. But then when you look back 6 months and what may have transpired over all that time, especially if you're intentionally trying to do the work on yourself and move forward, you look at it and you're like, wow, a lot went on in the last 6 months when you look at it in a larger chunk of time. Has that happened to you?
Yes, it does. And a lot of times you feel like you're not moving forward because there is a lot of distractions and things going on. But taking those steps instead of not doing anything, because that's what can happen too when you have so much to do and there's so much going on that can distract you from your goals. It can make you feel like not doing anything because there's too many things to do and you don't know which one to do. But being mindful of at least taking a step towards each thing, just a tiny step that,
Yep.
you know, it's doing something. You will see that over 4 to 6 months, you have gotten a lot done. So I think it has to do a lot too with not beating yourself up for
Right.
having the struggles of distractions, you know. Knowing that life will life, you know, things will do what it's gonna do. You're an adult, you will have to do adulting, you know, and so going ahead and accepting that things you know, they happen when they're supposed to, and the timing that it's supposed to. So just being mindful that you're taking the steps toward, you know, your goals, bettering yourself, whatever it is that you need to continue on. Those distractions will be there, but you will see in 4 to 6 months' time, you've
Yep.
done a lot.
Well, that's a great reminder, what you just said, in that it's not your time. It's on the universe's time, or when it's supposed to happen. And we have to realize that what we think is what we want may not be the best for us. And it will show up when it's supposed to show up. But there comes the patience, you know?
Right. That patience is key, because first you got to be patient with yourself. It's kind of like, even if you have a goal of losing weight or gaining weight, or you know, lifting a certain
Sure.
amount in a certain time, having patience with yourself, knowing that you're striding. Can't see it right then, but you know you did the work. Having patience, before you know it, you're just right where you want to be, where whatever it is. So once you're able to have it within, you definitely will be able to have it, you know, without.
Yep.
I'm out.
Yep.
So with others.
I totally agree. And you know, you mentioned losing weight. You know, that's on my radar. Getting more fit, eating better, and I'm not even close to my goal and what I want. However, when I look back to even, I don't know, 2 months, maybe three, I'm like, wow, you're doing a lot more now toward your goal than you were then. Like, radically different in terms of the mindset. You know, if I eat something that's not the best for me, it's like, it's on my radar. I'm thinking about it. It's like, yeah, I know I shouldn't have eaten that, but you know, I don't eat like I used to. It's a big
Right.
difference. But it's a progression, and we just need to. I call it ride the wave. Just get into the water and ride the wave. You know, it's like you're surfing, and guess what? When you're surfing and you're on that wave, you want to go from here to here very fast. Oh, it's not going to happen. It's going to be when the wave gets you in. That's when it's going to happen.
Right. Exactly.
And what's the wave? Could be the universe, if you believe in that. Whatever, you know, whatever you've subscribed to. Shay, how do we find you? If somebody wants to unpack some of this stuff with you, or you know, share some stories, or even get your insight on stuff, how do they do that?
www.myessentialblessings.org, and Shay Madison Johnson on Facebook. I'm also on YouTube and Instagram as Shay Marie EHE.
Spiritualism from the swing.
I love this swing.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. Always great talking to you and gaining that insight. And thanks for being here today. Appreciate it.
Great talking to you too, Steve.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right. We'll catch up soon. We're coming right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.